for my father-in-law, who had been very good, very thoughtful, very supportive of me all during the months after my baby's death, because that baby was named for him. So this, for my fourth child, was named for Millard, but the name Millard was carried on. And then we got through those years of taking care of the polio child, and I thought, well, it's a good time to have a fourth child, perhaps. So it turned out to be Emmy Lou, a girl, and she was 13 years younger than my oldest daughter, very much like an only child, and was a great deal of pleasure for her father and me all those years. So I think I was pretty fortunate having 5 healthy children until I lost my second child, and I think that it's very interesting how different children are, how a mother has, and a father too, has to adapt to the children that they've produced. Goodness knows they're all so different. We learn a great many lessons from our children, perhaps more than we teach them. Well, I think that my missions, in the first place, I have 2 or 3 hats that I wear. I am very much interested and have been in preservation and in museum houses, and trying to make museum houses more excellent, living up to rules and regulations that they should be following. And then in my work with AIDS, I like to think that I've helped families, mothers perhaps in particular, and the men with AIDS. And they have helped me more than I've ever helped them. They've taught me all kinds of things. And I've often thought that I've been very lucky to have these last 8 years of life to work with people with AIDS, because they have a very special message to teach us all. One of which, of course, is to know how to die, and die with great grace and a great deal of courage. I will never be afraid to die after seeing the way they have died. You wouldn't dare not feel that you could be afraid or be upset. I think you can accept death as you never could in any other way. I believe that it was very fortunate that I could do something after my grandson died of AIDS, because I needed very badly to do something. And I was very lucky that the young people who were starting the AIDS project here were willing to take me, an 80-year-old woman, to be part of the other project. And we've been through a lot of ups and downs and hellfire, all kinds of things, and have come out on top. And I think it's been a tremendous experience for me to have these last years of my life. I've had people say, and probably criticize me for some of the things I have said and thought, because I'm liable to be a little bit on the left side of things. And when I went into preservation, people thought I was nutty. And I said, why don't all of you people get out there and try to save the Union Station? It's a wonderful building. It'd be great for some kinds of business. And I was told by a couple of businessmen, that's ridiculous, Franny. All that cement down there and all that stuff, it's in terrible condition. How in the world can you say a thing like that? And I said, have you been to Atlanta? Have you been out to San Francisco and see what they've done out there? Well, no, they hadn't. And I said, that would be a wonderful place for a business. And of course, those same people, I'm sure today, wouldn't admit that they'd ever said that to me, but they did. And I knew when I started with the AIDS project that there were a great many people who would not agree with me about what I was thinking and so forth, especially my views on the question of homosexuality. But I feel that there will eventually be changes. And the changes will come about because science is going to teach us a lot about homosexuality. And when that happens, then there'll be less criticism, I think, and more understanding that in this world, the homosexual community is a very important part. Much of our culture, our finest artists, our best musicians, our great dancers and so forth, many of them have been homosexual. And there's a reason for that. There's a feminine part of humanity that does develop beautiful things in art and music and dancing. And if it happens to be in the form of a male, that can be just as beautiful. And I think that sooner or later, these things will be recognized and be understood. I think it'll probably be later. There's so much homophobia that goes on, and this distresses me a great deal. But all we can do is to hope, and I always hope. I've been very, very fortunate in my life because I think very few people are recognized in their lifetimes, and I've been very lucky. And there again, I have all these very dear friends, and I know that lots of the awards come because my friends have put me up for them. That this is the way it's done. So that I don't claim a great deal of credit for getting the awards. I think it was my friends who did it for me. So that I feel very humble about it, but it's really true. And I have had, it's true, I have had a national award, and I've had state awards, and I've had local awards. And last, a year ago, when there was a dinner in my honor, I was made a Point of Light, 314th. And that comes from the White House. And I was given a key to the city of Portland. Never saw a key to the city before, so I was very much interested in what the key looked like, too, with a very nice plaque. And I had recognition from the governor, presented by the governor. And I had a wonderful recognition from my college, Smith College. And I also have had several awards from one of my favorite charities, Sweet to Children's Home, which is now called Sweet to Children's Services. And also from historically, I've had on what is called the Roll of Honor for the National Society of Colonial Dames for the work that I've done in museum houses. And let's see what else. Well, anyway, I've had more than my share, and I feel very humble. And I always feel when I get an award that it isn't I alone that's getting it. It's all those people who have been working with me. Nobody does anything alone in this life, you know. You do it with the help of other people. It's very funny. I've never had very many doubts and thoughts and fears that some of my friends seem to have as they grow older. I think it's because I've had lots of friends and lots of things to do, and never doubted, except when I was sick at times, that I could do them. So all of a sudden, last year, I began to think, well, I'm getting close to 90. Maybe this is the last time I'll be doing this, and that's the first time I ever had that feeling before. And then I found out a little while later on, I thought, well, maybe this is the last time I'm going to be doing this. And I thought, this is funny, what's going on here? And I think probably I'm getting myself ready to go into another life. And I don't know exactly, but I guess that's what's happening. It's rather interesting because I've never had these thoughts before. And maybe that's